Raven, if you've got an ounce of decency... And I'll put that another way. I'm begging you, all right? I'm begging you. For April's sake, don't tell her about this.
This obviously means a lot to you.
It means a lot more to April and Julia.
I bet. All right, Logan. Tell you what. I won't say a word.
Thank you.
But I want one little thing in return.
Well, that figures. What is it?
When you go back to the office this afternoon, I want you to call Mike Carr and tell him that you want to drop the custody suit.
You gotta be kidding.
No. I want you to promise that we will settle this thing out of court.
An out-of-court settlement consisting of what?
I know how much you love Jamie, and I respect that. I really do. I promise I'll be very, very liberal with my visitation rights. You can see him as often as you want, practically all the time.
Then what do you get out of all of this?
I want it on record that I am the controlling parent.
Oh, you just want the upper hand, that's all.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good deal. If you agree, you get Jamie, and I don't tell April.
I think I'll pass.
Why? If you sign on the dotted line, you get everything you want.
I don't get full and permanent control of Jamie, and I swore I'd settle for nothing less.
Oh, Logan, come on, be practical. This is the next best thing, and it's guaranteed. If you go to court, you might lose Jamie and never see him again.
If you have any control over Jamie's future, he's the one that stands to be the loser. You don't deserve to have Jamie, and God knows he doesn't deserve you.
Well, I just wonder what April's reaction's going to be when she finds out that the stiff in the coffin that she cried and cried over may not be Draper.
Well, she's a lot tougher than you think she is, and I don't think she's going to fall apart.
Well, we'll just see about that.
However, I don't think I'm going to let you tell her about this.
Oh, you're going to throw me off the ledge?
No. But I'll tell her myself. That way she'll hear it with a little compassion instead of sadistic delight.
Wait a minute. All right, I'll compromise. Tell you what, I have an idea that you just may be able to deal with. Okay, Logan, why don't we just sit down and discuss this thing rationally, okay? Okay. You say that you want to have a messy court battle. Okay, fine. We'll have a good time. But why don't you leave her out of this?
What, are you joking?
No, I'm not. If you don't call her on the stand to testify, then I will leave here without saying anything more than, have a nice day, April.
You're incredible, you know that? You're just incredible.
Logan, you're the one who keeps telling me what a good case you have without calling her on the stand.
Well, you're the one that destroyed that letter, which is why I need her testimony.
Well, you're the one who's going to benefit from this whole deal.
Just how do you figure that?
Because I know how difficult it will be for you to call poor April on the stand now that you've put her on such a pedestal.
Yeah, I don't want to call her on the stand. I know it can be rough up there, but she knows how important it is for Jamie to be with me, and she's willing to do what's necessary to see that he is.
You're getting a lot of mileage out of her.
The only reason that April is caught between us is because you thought her place was the perfect dumping ground for Jamie when you took off for England.
Only temporary.
No, please spare me that fable. I've heard it before.
Well, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, if I tell April that Draper might still be alive, she's not the only one who will suffer. I'm thinking of poor little Julia, spending the rest of her life wondering if her daddy will ever come home.
Raven, you are a terribly sick woman.
And then, of course, there's sweet April. If she has one glimmer of hope that her husband may return, she will lock herself up here on this ivory tower and spend the rest of her life waiting. And then where will you be?
I always heard that beauty was only skin deep, and here you are, living proof. Inside, you are ugly.
Skin deep used to be good enough for you. Still fighting it, aren't you? Trying to convince yourself that an anemic blonde is what you want. Well, look, you might as well give up all hope after I tell her about Draper.
You want to know something funny? I pity you.
Save your pity for April, because she's going to need it.
You got a deal. I'll keep her out of this.
You swear?
Oh, sure. I'll keep her off the stand. It's not going to do you any good, though. I've still got you dead to rights on this abandonment charge.
Well, you just keep fighting, honey.
And, Raven, don't forget that in order to win, you will have to perjure yourself. That means risking going to jail for the sake of the joys of motherhood. Somehow, I don't think you're going to do that.
I'll see you in court. All right, April, we're all finished. You can come down now.
Well, I certainly hope you and Logan have gotten everything all straightened out.
We sure did, but now I have to go somewhere.
Wait a minute, Raven.
No, really, I'd love to stay for coffee, but I don't have time.
I thought you had some earth-shattering news to tell me.
Well, that I did.
Well,
I guess you'll just have to ask Logan now. He's got all kinds of secrets. Look, why don't we get together for lunch sometime soon, okay? Bye-bye.
thing all right?
Couldn't be better.
Well, then why are you so upset?
Raven has that effect on me. I'll get over it, though. 5 years, 10.
You know, I think I know why Raven came over here.
You do? Why?
She, wanted to find out about us, if there was anything, you know, between us.
Well, you know Raven. She didn't invent gossip, but she certainly perfected it.
Yeah.
I've intruded on you enough this morning. I think I better go.
Logan?
Yeah?
Are you hungry?
Well, I hadn't thought about it.
Well, Molly and Julia are in the park, and it is almost lunchtime, and I don't like to eat alone.
Which way to the kitchen?
Really, I'd like nothing better, but considering how long it's going to... But considering how long it's going to take me to get there, get back, we're not going to have very much time to eat. And since I've just started at the factory, this is no time for me to start coming in late.
But this isn't the kind of good news I want to share with you over the phone, and I don't know if I can wait until dinner.
Ah, something tells me that you're feeling very good about your interview with Dr. Kavanaugh.
Yes. Starting Monday morning, we're both going to be leaving the house bright and early. I got the job.
Congratulations, that's wonderful, honey.
Yeah. You know how worried I was that I wouldn't be qualified. Well, Dr. Kavanaugh was very impressed with my credentials.
Look, in a couple of weeks, he's going to wonder how we ever got along without you.
Well, running Daddy's office counted for more than I even thought it would, because he didn't even bother to interview any other candidates. And he's so nice, Kirk. I'm really going to like working for him.
Emily, hearing you sound this good makes me feel very happy.
Well, everything is going so well for us, Kirk. It's so perfect. Gosh, it's almost frightening.
Yeah. You know what? I think I am going to come home.
We didn't include the unicorn in this feature we're doing on the in-night spots here in Monticello, but after Miles and my visit last night, considering the lack of crowds, I would say no way.
Then anyone who wanted to rub elbows with the so-called beautiful people would have to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, beautiful people or no, it was an interesting evening. Very interesting. I saw a familiar face.
Anyone I know?
No. Well, it's someone you know of. It's that young girl that I told you about, the one that's been following me around.
Do you mean she followed you there?
Oh, no. She's a waitress at the Unicorn. She had something very interesting to tell me.
Well, I hope she had some explanation for her behavior.
Yes, she did. She's curious about me.
Because of you're a television personality?
No. Because she claims that she's my half-sister.
Your what?
I know, it sounds incredible, doesn't it?
Not incredible. It's impossible. Nicole, I've traveled in the same political circles as your father, Ben Travis. I knew your family before you were born, and I can tell you, you are an only child.
Jody Travis. That's the name she uses, Jody Travis. She says that she's the daughter of my father and a woman that he had an affair with for several years. Geraldine, I've heard rumors that my father had a lady friend. Well, of course, we can't tell if she's telling the truth or not, but still, it was a shock to learn that I might have a sister after all of these years.
Are you sure she didn't want something more than just a family reunion?
I don't know.
Nicole, in my experience, when relatives start popping up out of the woodwork, it's usually because they want something. Like a handout, for instance.
She didn't ask for anything. Of course, it's too soon to know.
Just the same. I'd be on my guard if I were you. And certainly, I would look into that young lady's background.
Miles feels the same way. But she's just 18, Geraldine. I think I can handle her.
Watch your toes. Look up, look up. All right. Whoa, what do you think you're doing?
I think I'm doing fine.
Oh, no, you're moving with all the grace of a wounded duck.
I think I pulled a hamstring.
Yeah, well, if you came in 10 minutes before the lesson started instead of 10 minutes after, you would have time to warm up properly.
Why do you always get on my case? Pick on somebody else for a change.
I like picking on you. It's good for you. All right, let's take it from the top. Can I help you?
They're very good.
Well, if you came to learn the foxtrot and the tango, I'm afraid you're in the wrong place. We deal strictly with jazz and ballet, that sort of thing.
No, I wasn't interested in taking any lessons.
Well, if you're selling something, you came to the wrong place, too. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Well, look who's here.
Hello, Jody.
I never expected you to come down here. How did you find me?
Well, you told me you were taking lessons near the Unicorn. This is the only studio in the neighborhood.
Well, you're not just handsome. You've got brains, too.
Jody, I told you. One of the rules around here is no stage door Johnnies hanging around. It's not good for your concentration.
Lighten up, will you? Gavin is a real taskmaster.
Well, maybe you'd better introduce us.
Oh. Gavin Wiley, this is Dr. Miles Cavanaugh. Dr. Cavanaugh, Gavin Wiley.
How are you?
Jody hasn't been in town too long. She's obviously made friends fast.
Oh, Miles isn't a friend, exactly. I mean, he is a friend, but, well, he's something more to me.
Oh, I see.
Miles is my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister.
You never said anything about having family in Monticello.
Oh, well, one of the reasons I came to Monticello was to find my long-lost sister. She works at the TV station down here.
Oh, that explains the little shrine you have by your locker.
Oh, I put a few publicity shots up of Nicole on the wall. There's nothing wrong with being proud of your big sister, is there?
Listen, Jody, I'd like to talk to you privately if we could.
Oh, sure. Except there isn't too much privacy here.
Well, how about I take you to lunch?
I don't think Jody can make it. She doesn't go to lunch.
Give me a break, Gavin.
Well, we haven't finished the lesson yet. And I still want to work on a couple of moves after the spins.
Oh, listen, that's all right. I won't take you away from a lesson. Really.
It's no big deal. We'll pick it right up after lunch.
Yeah, well, you'll be no good to me right after lunch.
Doctor, you have got yourself a lunch date.
Something tells me that your talk with Raven has ruined your appetite.
Something tells you correctly. While we're on the subject of food, I'm not going to be able to make our dinner date tomorrow night either.
What?
I'm sorry.
Logan, you know you're going to give me a complex. I think this is the second dinner date this week you've backed out on. I mean, should I dye my hair or something?
No,
Black?
please, no, don't.
Purple.
As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be able to see you for a week, maybe more.
Why not?
Not going to be here. I've got a little vacation time coming to me. I thought I'd take it.
I see. Well, you deserve it. I think it's absolutely terrific. Should get away from everything for a while, including me.
How can you think that?
What do you mean, how can I think that? You have been decidedly cooler towards me for at least a week or so, and it is not my imagination.
Well, it's just the work that I've had to do recently. I got a couple of cases on my desk that are driving me up the wall. One in particular.
Why don't you just tell me a little more about your vacation? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
I'm going to go upstate. I try a little fishing.
Sounds good.
Hope you'll be able to keep Raven away from your elevator door.
Don't worry about me, Logan. Besides, Raven is the only one who thinks we're friends.
Well, I want you to have some company while I'm away.
Well, thank you. That is just very considerate of you. Are you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Besides, Emily Michaels and I have been spending a lot of time together.
Michaels, I owe you an apology. I owe you a dozen apologies.
That many? Whatever for?
Well, I told you I was going to pay a call on the reclusive Mr. Michaels, and I just never got around to it. I didn't get a chance.
I guess it's because of this tremendous workload you've been telling me about.
Well, I don't suppose you've had a chance to make his acquaintance yet, have you?
No. Emily has told me that he has ensconced himself in Oakdale. He lives and works there now.
Well, that would mean you'd have to go up there in order to say hello, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I do.
Well!
Oh, look who's here.
Home, sweet home.
What's she doing?
Oh, she's sleeping.
Oh, she just woke up.
Oh, good
How was your walk in the park?
It's perfectly lovely. I met two very nice new mothers, and now Julia has a couple of friends her own age.
Your daughter's becoming a social butterfly, huh? How you doing, gorgeous?
Oh,
Look at
I'm
that.
sorry. Molly, this is a friend of mine, Logan Swift. This is Molly Sherwood, my housekeeper.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Swift.
Nice to meet you, Miss Sherwood. I've heard a lot of good things about you. Hope you're taking good care of these ladies. They're very special.
I'll do my best. Well, you'll excuse me. I think it's obviously late for our nap.
Oh, poor sweetie. Whoops.
Whoa, excuse
Don't
me,
worry about the
Mrs.
carriage.
Scott.
I'll put it away.
Thank you. Come on, darling, up to bed.
Sleep well, baby.
She seems very nice.
Yeah, she is. Does a terrific job around the house, and she's wonderful with Julia.
Well, thanks for lunch. I guess I better go.
Anytime.
Call you before I leave, all right?
Thanks.
I will see you. And soon.
Have you, forgotten anything?
Like what?
Well, I mean, you used to, well, you used to kiss me goodbye. Forget it.
Well, no, I don't think I will forget it. I mean, when you're right, you're right. Elevators.
Yeah. I got it. Hello.
April, hi. I'm so glad I found you in.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I couldn't be better. And once again, I owe it all to you.
And what did I do this time?
I got the job with your brother. I'm starting on Monday.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. For you and my brother.
April, how am I ever going to repay you?
Emily, you don't owe me anything.
You
You know, I'm really glad. Well, I'm glad that you're my friend.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think now that you're working for my brother, we will even be closer and better friends. How's that? Listen, I will call you Monday night and tell you how my first day went, okay? Good. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Gosh, I've got to think about what I'm going to wear.
Mrs. Michaels.
Yes.
My name's Logan Swift. I'm a friend of April Scott's.
Oh, yes, she's mentioned you. Please come in.
Thank you. She's told me a great deal about you and your husband as well.
Yeah. Nice things, I hope.
Oh, yeah. I just found myself in the neighborhood. Thought I'd drop in and meet the couple that bought her house.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Hope it's not a bad time.
Oh, no, not at all. Why don't you come in, sit down, relax, and, well, can I get you some coffee?
I think that'd be very nice. If there's no trouble.
No trouble at all.
Thank you.
Kirk will be home any minute.
Wonderful. Michael, did you hear any stories or rumors about survivors straying away from the wreck and then not being accounted for?
Any rumors? No, I didn't hear anything.
You see anybody that night?
See anyone? Well, what do you mean?
Well, a stranger wandering around. I know this all sounds peculiar, but these are the kind of questions I'm going to be asking when I'm doing my investigation.
Excuse me.
Oh, certainly.
Hello.
Miss Emily, is that man there?
Molly?
Is that man there the district attorney?
Oh, yes, he's still here.
Well, for the love of heaven, don't let him see Kirk. Don't let him see him, whatever you do. Get rid of him.
What?
Don't let him see your husband. Do you hear me? You'll regret it for the rest of your life if you do.
Molly, I don't understand.
Kirk is in danger, in terrible danger, and so are you.
But he's coming home right now. He's just getting off the bus. He's on the way up the drive.
Well, then stop him now.
Excuse me.
Shirley?
Hi.
Oh, Kirk, you're home early.
Yeah, sure, you told me to come home.
Oh, yeah, but you can't come in right now. I have a surprise, and no, it's not
What are you
ready
talking about?
yet. No, you'll ruin it, honey. Please, just take a walk around the block, okay? In 15 minutes?
Emily, I only have an hour for lunch. Now,
No,
come on.
come on. Then 10 minutes. Please, honey. It's worth it.
All right, I'll be back.
Thanks.
Well, what was all that about? Why'd you send your husband away? You planned this little stunt from the beginning?
No, you just don't understand.
Well, maybe I do. Why would you be afraid of me meeting him unless he was wanted someplace? Is that it?
No, that is not true. And you can ask Detective Saxon about that.
Well, I can't really because she didn't have a chance to do a deep computer scan. She just checked the local records. Now, granted, we've got him on a few minor offenses for about 10 years ago, but he sure could have been busy someplace else since then, say another state.
That is not the reason.
Then you tell me what the reason is.
It's because of his illness.
His illness.
Yes. I was afraid of what might happen to him if he saw someone like you in his own home.
Someone like me?
Yes. Kirk is afraid that he might have done something in his past. Now, I know that there is no reason for him to worry. But when someone has no memory at all of his past, and the only thing he can remember is that he did wrong things when he was younger, well, it's very natural for them to be frightened. You do understand that, don't you?
Well, I suppose I can try, but what about that phone call? Who was that?
It was my friend.
A friend? Did she tell you to warn him off?
Yes, no. She just reminded me of how sensitive Kirk is, and how any little thing could set him into a deep state of depression. Mr. Swift, please try and understand. Kirk is finally coming around to himself. He has a job now in a factory. You can check that out for yourself.
Thanks, I will.
We're only trying to be happy. And you come in here and you try to spoil it all for us. Please, sir, if it has anything to do with April,
Just a second. I'm not trying to spoil anybody's happiness, and for God's sake, don't think this is April's idea. I mean, I didn't come here. Well, this is turning out all wrong. It's not what I wanted to happen at all.
Does that mean that you're not going to do anything to Kirk?
For not wanting to meet me, it's hardly a crime. If it were, the jails would be overflowing.
I'm really sorry that I carried on like that.
Why? It's obvious that you care about him a great deal.
I do. I love him very much. I love him more than anything else in the world.
Wonderful thing. Love somebody like that. I won't bother you anymore. Thanks for seeing me. Thank you for the coffee. Goodbye, Mrs. Michaels.
Bye.
Elliot, if you were any kind of a gentleman, you would help me with this.
I was gentleman enough to supply the champagne, and I still don't know why.
Because it's for a celebration. Oh! You see, something wonderful happened. I made a deal this morning, and it is going to bring me millions.
Mommy's millions, I take it.
Yes. Shall we toast to Mommy?
I'll drink to that.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I have a better toast. To chivalry.
Oh.
You see, there are still knights in shining armor out there ready to help their lady fair.
I take it you're not referring to me, huh?
Definitely not, you cad. This is to my husband, Logan Swift.
Why the sudden fondness for Logan?
Because this morning he promised me that he will not call April on the stand at the custody trial.
Because of chivalry?
Yes. Well, actually, it's a little more complicated than that. To tell the truth, it's a miracle. You see, at this train wreck, there was a big mix-up of the bodies, and they didn't really bury Draper Scott's body in his own grave.
What are you telling me? Are you serious?
Yes, isn't it incredible? It's the truth. They checked his dental records or something, and that's how they found out, and they think that he might still be alive.
Lord. Does April know about this?
No, that's the whole thing. Nobody wants to tell her, especially Logan. They're afraid she'll get her hopes up that Draper's still alive.
But if he were alive, surely we would have heard something by now.
No. They don't really think he's alive. They think he drowned or something. If they're afraid that April will spend the rest of her life lighting candles in the window, I don't know. But the point is, I promised Logan that I wouldn't tell April, and he promised me that he wouldn't call her on the stand. Now, I think that that is a wonderful bargain. Cheers.
Yeah, almost too good to be true.
No, it's true. Logan will keep his word. And don't you look at me like that, because April had every right to know, and she also had every right to know that it was Logan who was keeping it from her.
I see.
I mean, she'll find out eventually, but not from me. My lips are sealed. And so is the bargain.
So that's what you meant by chivalry.
You see, Logan was afraid that the effect might be very bad on poor April sitting in her poor little penthouse. You know, when I think of that insipid little creature living in that beautiful apartment, it makes me sick.
Because she's living better than you, right?
Yes, but not for long. Soon I will come into my own.
Tell me something, Raven. If this was supposed to be such a well-kept secret, how did you find out about it?
Because I have friends. Cliff Nelson told me, and then I confirmed it with Derek Mallory. I talked to them on the telephone a couple of days ago.
The hell you did. You probably wormed it out of both of them with your usual approach to men.
It's not true. I didn't see him. Elliot, I didn't see them. You know I only see you. Come on, you know I only care about you.
This is really a great restaurant. I feel like it's my birthday or something.
We just felt it would be a good opportunity for the three of us to have lunch, Kelly.
Yes, it's very rare that our schedules coincide at this hour.
Are you sure that's the only reason? Well, I mean, I don't mean to sound suspicious or anything, but I know you were a little bit upset when you talked to my parents on the phone in Rome.
Upset is not quite the right word, Kelly.
Dear, I'm sure you know why I wanted to talk to your dad privately. Because we haven't had much luck in getting any answers from you as to why you reached your decision.
Kelly, we're being inquisitive because we feel responsible for you, and we'd like to know as much as possible about you.
Well, I understand that, Uncle Mike. I mean, who doesn't like people who are concerned about others?
Well, we are concerned about you. And we just want to be sure that your decision was based on something reasonable.
Well, what did Dad say it was?
He didn't say.
He did tell us one thing, though, that you had gotten into some kind of trouble in Rome.
And that we could find out the rest of the details if and when you want to tell us.
Your father's quite a man, Kelly. I hope you realize that.
Oh, I do. I mean, he's great, and so is Mom. They supported me 100% throughout the whole mess. Not once did they disbelieve a word I said.
Well, if they were so supportive, then why did you leave?
Well, I was blamed for something. Something pretty awful.
What, some kind of crime?
Oh, no, I wasn't arrested or anything like that. But it did involve the Italian police and the American embassy. It was a pretty big mess.
But you were innocent, weren't you?
Oh, I swear I was, Uncle Mike. Although, I guess it didn't look that way. Not to anyone. In fact, I'm even surprised my parents believe me, considering that...
Kelly, not too long ago, a very close friend of ours was accused of murder. It led to his arrest, his conviction, and eventually his death. But not once did any of his friends lose faith in his innocence.
And that innocence was eventually proved.
Too late, unfortunately, but it was proved. Now, maybe if you stuck it out in Rome, you could prove...
No, Uncle Mike, you don't understand. I was making them suffer. Well, the publicity hurt them very much. Well, as you know, Dad's an architect, and the construction company that he deals with is all tied in with the government and politics and all that kind of stuff. For all I know, if I'd stayed in Rome, he would have lost his job.
Oh, well, I doubt that. Kelly, I do know that your dad is very unhappy with your decision, and so is your mother.
But I made it, and I'm going to stick with it. Besides, I'm an American, and I want my puppets to be Americans, too.
Yes, of course.
Well, they already have a lot in common with a lot of Americans. They're unemployed.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Oh, hello, Bobby. How are you? You haven't met my wife, have you? Nancy, this is Bobby Burrows.
Hello, Mrs. Carr. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bobby is the voice of Monticello.
What he means, Mrs. Carr, is I'm a DJ, disc jockey. I do the Boogie with Burrows show.
Oh, yes, I've heard that a couple of times. Yes, it is the #1 show in the city. I'd like you to meet my nephew.
Sure, I know all about your nephew. His name is Kelly McGrath, and he's a famous puppeteer. Am I right? Your husband handled my last lawsuit against the station, Mrs. Carr, and thanks to him, I came out of it smelling like roses.
I see. Well, now, how do you know Kelly?
You know, we haven't met before, have we?
Well, I have seen you on those promos for WMON once or twice, but that's not how I know. You see, you've got a terrific press agent named Ronnie Burrows.
Your son?
That's right. A couple of weeks ago, the poor little guy had to go into Monticello General for an operation on his leg.
Oh, I hope he's all right now.
Sure, he's fine, but he doesn't even talk about the operation. All he talks about is a terrific puppeteer he saw named Kelly McGrath.
Well, it's really nice of you to say that, Mr. Burrows.
How many times have you been at the hospital, Kelly?
Oh, 4 or 5 times, I guess. You know, I did a show for the geriatric ward, and they like the Poco puppets just as much as the kids do.
He's really very talented. Finding it a little difficult to get started professionally, though.
Well, you're not working, Kelly?
Well, I have a job, all right, at the Unicorn Disco.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but I tried to do a puppet show there, and they said it just didn't fit in.
Well, now, wait a minute. That night that you brought the puppets down, you attracted a tremendous crowd.
Well, yeah, but then it was the novelty of the thing. You know, puppets in a disco.
You know, that is a novelty. Say, I've got an idea. Maybe I can help.
What do you mean?
You just tune into my show tonight around 8 o'clock, and you'll find out what I mean. Well, so long, folks. See you in court, Mike.
All right, Bobby.
Bye.
Well, here I am. Everything set?
Yeah, it's all right. He's gone now.
Gone. Who's gone? Emily, is somebody here? Hey, come on. What's going on? It was the police, wasn't it?
No, not exactly.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
It was the district attorney.
The district attorney. That's worse. What, did he have an indictment? Why didn't he send the police?
Oh, no, you don't understand. He's a friend of April's. He just wanted to meet you. I mean, he wanted to meet us.
No, come on, Emily. No, I can't believe it. There had to be something else. Had to be more to it.
Yeah. He knows about your police record. I guess he just wanted to see if April had sold her house to a criminal.
Well, Emily, for Pete's sake, why didn't you have me meet the man? I mean, sending me away like that, it just made me look worse, like I really was a fugitive or something.
No, honey, I explained to him that you'd been ill.
Well, you still shouldn't have done that.
Well, I wouldn't have if it hadn't been for Molly.
Molly? Now, what does Molly have to do with this?
She called me just before you got off the bus, and she warned me that it would be dangerous for that man to meet you.
It sounds like Molly. Honey, you shouldn't have listened to her.
I wouldn't have, Kurt, but she was in a panic. She was in an absolute panic. And I tried to call her before, but nobody answered.
Oh, Molly always assumes the worst. Come on, take it easy. You're shaking. It's all right.
It was terrible. It was an awful experience. I can't help wondering what April is going to think of me now. And she's been so kind to me.
No, it's going to be all right. She'll realize that it's just a little mistake, that's all.
No, but she won't trust me anymore. She's going to feel like I've been hiding something from her.
Well, you are hiding something, Emily. Just wait a minute. Let me think for a second. There's got to be a way that you and I can handle this problem.
But how?
can stop hiding. I can stop being such a recluse. I can go see Mrs. Scott with you.
Will you?
Yeah, of course I will. All this secrecy is making us look like Bonnie and Clyde, so all we have to do is be less secretive.
Oh, honey. That would be so wonderful. It's the best way, honestly. It is the best way.
All right, look, you just, call Mrs. Scott and make an appointment. I gotta go back and see if I still have a job.
But, Kirk, you haven't had lunch yet.
Well, that's all right. I'll, have a big dinner.
No, no, no. You stay right there. I'm going to fix you a sandwich. Still no answer. It's such a beautiful day. She's probably out walking the baby. For just a minute. Molly.
I asked Mrs. Scott for the afternoon off, and she's taking the baby to the park.
Now, you tell me what's going on. What was that phone call all about?
Emily, dear, would you mind sitting down?
No. Of course not.
That's why I came here, to tell you exactly what it was all about.
Wait, now before you start, I want to tell you that that man was not here to arrest Kirk. He said it had nothing to do with his police record.
No, I suppose not.
See, he was just a friend of April's, and, well, he said he was just doing her a favor.
Yes, I suppose that's what he wanted to do.
Besides, it's not going to matter anymore, Molly. Kirk and I just talked it all out, and, well, he's decided to come out of hiding. He's going to come with me to April's now.
Oh, dear God.
No, Molly, it really is for the best. We'll tell her everything, and I know that she'll understand.
Miss Emily. Miss Emily, you have got to know the truth. You've got to know the truth before it strikes you in the face.
What?
There's just no way to stop the truth anymore, Miss Emily. No way to stop it at all. That's why I brought you this.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find. Always on my mind. And frustrated days pass without sight. The edge of night, half dark, half light. Do you think we might wake up?
Molly, what is going on? What was that phone call all about?
Please, Miss Emily, will you sit down?
Yes, of course.
Well, that's why I've come here, to tell you exactly what it was all about.
Now, Molly, before you begin, that man wasn't here to arrest Kirk. He said it had nothing to do with his police record.
No, I suppose it didn't.
He was just a friend of April's. He was doing her a favor.
Yes, I'm sure that's what he wanted to do.
Besides, it doesn't matter anymore. Kirk and I talked about it, and we decided that he's not going to hide anymore, Molly. He's going to come and see April with me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, it's really the best way. We can tell her everything, and I know she's going to understand.
Miss Emily, you have got to know the truth. You have to know the truth before it strikes you in the face. Just there's no way to stop the truth anymore, Miss Emily. No way at all. That's why I have brought you this.
It's Kirk. With April.
Yes, Miss Emily, that's who it is.
This is not possible. Kirk doesn't even know it. Oh, Molly.
It's true, Miss Emily. They know each other all right. They knew each other years ago. They were married.
Before he came back to me.
Now, please, you must get that idea out of your head. Kirk never came back. The man in this picture is not Kirk Michaels.
No.
You know who he is, Miss Emily. You've heard everyone speak about Mrs. Scott's husband. Your friend has told you about him.
No, it couldn't be.
Yes, it is. The man that you call Kirk Michaels is really Draper Scott.
Molly, you're forgetting things. You're forgetting the fingerprints. Daddy went to the police, and he got a copy of Kirk's fingerprint record, and they match perfectly.
He fooled you, Miss Emily. He fooled Draper Scott. He wanted to close a door in that young man's mind, a door he saw opening, threatening you. He showed me exactly how he did it.
No.
He regretted it, of course, because he knew it was only temporary and he couldn't keep up the masquerade forever. When you and he decided to move to Monticello permanently, your father decided that you had to know the truth.
But, Molly, he never said a word to me. Not a word. Now, if he felt that way, then why didn't he? Oh, you mean he died before he could tell me?
Yes. And I, foolishly, I took up the cause for him. Believe me, I thought it would be all right. That you could still be happy with your dream in your dream house.
My dream house was their house. They lived here together. That's why Kirk was so drawn to this place.
He just wanted to come home, Miss Emily. I know April Scott told you all about it. How her husband was accused of a crime he didn't commit. And that he was on his way to prison. And that terrible accident happened. A train accident at Grand Falls. Oh, somehow, Draper Scott got away from the wreck. He walked nearly 2 miles. Till he reached our house.
So he thought he was a fugitive.
Yes. I guess so. Subconsciously, that's why he's so afraid of the law.
But he was innocent all the time.
And if it hadn't been for his illness and his amnesia, he would be a free man. A free man home with his wife and child.
Oh, no, Molly, I can't stand this.
I know, Miss Emily, but I don't know any other way to tell you.
Molly, if you knew all this, how could you have taken that job with April?
I didn't realize it was her. The first time I realized anything was the first day. This picture was by her bed. I took one look at it and I knew what had happened. That's when I called you to warn you not to work for Dr. Cavanaugh, a man who would know Draper Scott only too well.
I'm sorry. It must have been a terrible secret to have to keep.
It's a secret We just can't keep any more, Miss Emily. His family and his friends, they're all around you. All they have to do is just see him. Just once.
But Molly, what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to give him up? Just say, well, you're not married to me at all. You're married to another woman.
Is there any other way?
Molly, he has been Kirk to me. All along, since he came to us that night. He has been my husband to me. Now, how am I supposed to stop loving him?
You only loved him because you thought he was Kirk. Emily, Kirk is dead.
What?
Forgive me, Emily. Now, I know
No.
it seems awfully cruel,
No.
but your father found this
No,
out
Molly.
a long
No
time
more.
ago, and that's
No
how he
more.
knew that the
I
young man
can't.
who came into your
I
life...
Well, I was just on my way up to Graham County, but I wanted to stop by and tell you about a little visit I made this morning.
Let me guess. You went up to Oakdale to meet the mysterious Kirk Michaels.
How did you know that?
Deborah was here earlier.
Ah, well, you'll be happy to know I no longer think that you've fallen in amongst thieves, but the mysterious Mr. Michaels, the husband, he's still a mystery to me.
You didn't get to meet him?
Came close. He was coming home for lunch, on his way up the driveway. Emily ran out of the house and warned him off, sent him away.
Seriously?
Absolutely. That's what she did. She kept us from meeting face to face.
Logan, I don't know what
Now,
to...
I'm not saying that this proves anything. What she told me was that she was afraid of his reaction, meeting the district attorney in his own living room.
Well,
or
it's
something
true. I told you the man's been sick and he has some sort of a memory loss.
Well, he seems to remember his police record well enough.
Yeah, well... Logan, look, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but stop worrying about me so much. I have faith in Emily. I really do. I can't be that bad a judge of character.
Darn sight better judge than I am. For instance, look who you married, then look who I did.
Yeah, and look who I chose as a friend.
And I appreciate that. I really do.
Do you, Logan? I mean, do you really? Or are you just a little bit concerned? Widows are women, too, Logan. I mean, they've got the same instincts as normal women.
Really? What do your instincts tell you?
Something's changed. Maybe not drastically, but something. I don't know. Say it's the change in blood pressure or something, if you know what I mean.
I'm afraid I don't. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a doctor.
Logan, are you afraid that you're getting too involved with me?
Why would I be afraid of that?
The normal reasons. You don't want to be misunderstood. You don't want me to misunderstand your feelings towards me.
How could you? I've never been any good at hiding them.
Yeah. Well, I used to think honesty was one of your attributes.
It's gotten me into a lot of trouble.
Is that what you're afraid of? I mean, are you afraid of getting into trouble because of your feelings with me? Look, do you want me to change the subject?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not afraid of getting into trouble with you, all right?
Then what is it? I mean, something has happened. You know it. I know it. You act differently towards me.
It's been rough at the office lately. I've told you that.
Yes.
Don't like that alibi? It's a perfectly good one. Neanderthal man loved it.
Yeah, what do you... sorry, honey, I had a tough day at the cave today. Look, I know I am making you feel uncomfortable.
April, I told you the truth. I've got a new case. It's a very difficult one, and it's very important. There's a lot on the line, and it's kept me preoccupied for a week or two, that's
So
all.
preoccupied, so busy that you can afford to take a couple of days off for a vacation?
Well, I think it would be good for me to get away for a day or so. It probably won't be any more than that.
I understand Deborah's going, too.
Yeah, we're just sharing a ride, actually. We're not really going together. We're just going to the same place, that's all. Just going to the same place, so save a little gas. I really ought to be going now, actually. I just came by to tell you about my adventures with the Michaels and to say goodbye to you. Call you first thing I get back. I promise. It won't be long.
Well, I don't know, Red. It just seems to be a heck of a way to spend a week in July to me. I mean, following a trail that's ice cold and going around checking on things that nobody wants to even think about anymore.
That's all I can think about, Calvin. And I want to find out what did happen to Draper. And I also want to find out who switched those handcuffs.
Okay. Now, suppose you don't find out, huh?
Then we don't find out. But at least we would have tried.
Look, I know that is the right attitude to have, but it just, I don't know, it seems to me like a real shame to waste a week's vacation.
Oh, look, I don't mind. I didn't really have any plans for the summer.
Yeah, that's right. I guess Steve's going away did kind of spoil all that, huh? Well, look, anyway, at least you've got a good traveling companion. Logan's a nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Logan's a nice guy.
I mean, you know, you just can't help but feel sorry for a guy like Logan. I mean, you take his professional life. He's got it all together, but in his personal life, he just seems to keep making a lot of bad choices, doesn't he?
Well, you can't blame people for making mistakes every once in a while, you know. It kind of happens when you get involved with love.
Yeah, I guess you're batting 1,000 in that department, too. Wait, that was not supposed to come out like that. I'm sorry, I lost my head.
The trouble is, Detective, love isn't logical.
Yeah, I guess Logan's an example of that. I mean, getting involved with Raven.
Yeah, what about our chief of police?
Oh, not to mention that.
Look, I don't want to talk about Raven, okay? We talk about her enough as it is.
Right. That topic just went to the bottom of my list. Is there anything I can do for you while you're out of town?
Well, no, I don't think so. My caseload is pretty well organized. You can let me know if I get any important mail.
Important mail? You mean like a letter from Steve?
I'd settle for a postcard. Mr. Logan.
I'll get it.
You know, I don't understand how come he hasn't written to us.
Hi, Logan. Is Devin ready to go yet?
Yeah, just about.
Oh,
Here she
hi,
is.
Logan. I just have to change my clothes. I'll be ready.
Hey, I bet you got time for a beer. How about it?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Can I help in any way? You want this put away? You done with
yeah, I need to do that. Be careful, it's broken.
it? Okay.
One brew for you.
Thank you, sir.
Logan, April doesn't know what we're doing, does she?
I don't think so. I hope she still thinks I'm just going away for a couple of days vacation.
Then she hasn't heard about the autopsy or anything yet?
No, not yet. No thanks to my wife, I might add.
What do you mean by that?
Raven knows about it.
Well, how did that happen?
I don't know. I could make a couple of guesses. I won't right now, but I could.
What, do you think she's going to say anything to April?
She was threatening to do exactly that till I
Tell you what?
I talked her out of it.
How did you do that?
Well, I just did, that's all.
Wait a minute. You talked Raven out of telling April about the autopsy? Now, she doesn't seem like the kind of person who would fall for that.
Well, I made a bargain with her.
What kind of a bargain?
You don't give up, do you? All right, I promised her I wouldn't call April as a witness in a custody suit.
You what? Come on, you gotta be kidding.
I'm not smiling, am I? It's going to be all right. I can get custody of Jamie without dragging April through that mess. It'll be all right. You'll see. It'll be fine. I'll take this down in the car for you, all right? Want me to wait for you down there?
Please do.
Thanks for the beer.
5, 6, 7, 8. All right, cut.
Jeannie, we're gonna have to work on those turns of yours. You having balance problems again.
Yes.
Well, have a nice lunch.
As a matter of fact, I did.
Get any free medical advice?
What?
Must be nice having a doctor for a brother-in-law.
Well, I don't even know the man. We just had lunch together so we could get better acquainted.
How come you've never met your sister's husband before?
Well, I told you. I never met my sister before this. We were never formally introduced.
I get it. Because of different parents, right?
That's right. Nicole and I share the same father. That's it. He never saw any reason to tell her I existed.
So you told her.
She asked me, so I told her.
Well, maybe I can stop worrying about you so much.
What do you mean?
Well, you know what I mean. You walked into this place like homeless little orphan Annie, sleeping on the floor, walking around without a dime in your pocket. But now that you've found your long-lost family, I guess you'll be okay.
They're not my family. They're just relatives.
They're gonna help you out, aren't they?
Who says I need any help?
Well, pardon me for asking.
Gavin, that was a stupid thing for me to say. About not needing any help. Especially since you've given me so much.
I haven't given you so much. I gave you a place to sleep, a tip on a job.
Well, just the same, I want you to know that I'm not going to be staying here much longer. I'm going out to look for an apartment tomorrow.
What about the dance lessons?
Oh, I'll keep taking dance lessons. You'll see I'll be here every spare moment.
Okay. Just don't kill yourself, huh? You'll be working at the Unicorn 8 hours a night, and plus dancing 8 hours.
And 8 hours for sleeping. That's all I need, right?
There's got to be more to life than that.
Yeah, but I can wait for the rest.
Wait a minute. I don't want you working out after such a big lunch.
I didn't eat that much.
You were gone for almost 2 hours. What did you and your brother-in-law do all that time?
We talked. He's so easy to talk to. And to look at, for that matter. I'm sorry.
Do you feel any better?
I don't feel anything. Just drained.
To think that I had to tell you this. But you'll never forgive me, Miss Emily. I know you won't.
No. It had nothing to do with you. It was something I did to myself. Living my life as though it were a dream. Refusing to wake up. See things the way they really were.
Oh, no. It wasn't your fault. It was a conspiracy. A kind conspiracy.
But I should have seen through it. And I would have if I hadn't been blind to everything. Everything except what I wanted. Well, I got what I wanted, though, didn't I? I got my husband back for a little while. Daddy was sure about Kirk's death.
He saw the death certificate. There was no mistake, Miss Emily. There were witnesses and a police investigation. Your husband was killed while he was committing a robbery.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry. I know this is terribly painful.
You know that every reason I've had for living has just been taken away from me?
Oh, please, Miss Emily.
Something has to be done.
What?
Something has to be done about the situation. It just can't be allowed to remain this way. She has to be told. Kirk has to know, too, but she should know first.
Oh, please, Miss Emily, wait.
No, Molly. She's his wife. She's mourned him for months. Doesn't April need to know that her husband is still alive?
Hello?
April, hi, it's Emily. Oh, hi, Emily, how are you? Did Molly get there all right? I know she was going to drive up and visit you. Yes, Molly's here with me now, but, I'm going to be coming back with her soon. April, there's something really important I have to talk to you about. Is it all right? Of course it is, sure.
Good. Well, then we'll be there in a little while. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Helen about the situation. I just can't stay this way.
What?
She has to know. Kirk has to know too, but she should know first.
Oh, Miss Emily, wait.
Molly, she is his wife. She's been mourning him for months. April deserves to know the truth. Her husband is still alive. April, it's Emily.
Oh, hi, Emily. How are you? Did Molly get there all right? She said she was going to drive up and visit.
Yes, Molly's here with me now. But, well, we're going to be coming back very soon. There's something very important I have to talk to you about, April. Is that all right?
Sure, of course.
Good. Well, we'll see you in a little while then. Bye.
Bye.
Miss Emily, I wish you wouldn't.
April deserves to know the truth. She is a wonderful person. She's been so good to me, to us. You know there's not going to be in us after today. Oh, Molly, I feel as though my whole life is coming to an end.
Miss Emily, you can't think like that, Miss Emily. You simply can't.
Kirk was all I ever wanted.
You'll be all right, Miss Emily. Now, you just have to be strong.
I don't think I have that kind of strength.
Of course you do. Look, on the good side, some good did come out of it.
Really?
That young man came into your life. Well, he brought you out of a shell that you'd lived in much too long. Oh, he brought you into the world that you belong in.
He gave me that strength, Molly. Without him, I don't have anything.
You are not going to give up. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Well, what kind of life do I have? I'll be alone. I have no one to love. Nobody loved me.
I'll always be here for you. You give yourself half a chance. I know there'll be plenty of eligible bachelors falling all over themselves to meet you.
They won't be Kirk.
The real Kirk never did come back. Now, Miss Emily, you simply have to get that into your head.
What am I going to tell April?
When you need to, you'll find the words.
Wish I didn't have to say them at all.
Well, if it'd be of help, I'll be there when you tell her.
No, Molly, this is something I have to do myself.
Well, the least you can let me do is drive you to Monticello. I don't think it'd be a good idea for you to be behind the wheel of a car right now.
Yeah.
And when we get there, back to Mrs. Scott's apartment, I'll just go about my work. If you need me, you just ask for me.
Can you imagine what April is going to feel when I tell her?
Be a shock, you can be sure.
She probably won't believe me at first. When she realizes the truth, oh, what a glorious moment that'll be for her. I envy her so much. I know how I felt when I realized that my husband had come back to me. But I was wrong, wasn't I? He's dead. My husband is dead.
I had to tell you the truth, Miss Emily, the whole truth.
Oh, Molly, I don't blame you.
we should write a note for Kirk before we leave.
Oh, not about this.
Oh, no. No, I will have to tell him, but I have to do it very carefully. I guess I should ask April how she wants to handle it. Maybe she could ask her brother if he is a doctor. Isn't it ironic? I would have been working for his brother-in-law.
Now, you know why I didn't want you to take that job? Why I wanted you to stay as far away from that family as possible.
Maybe if I did stay away from them, we could have kept the secret forever. Is that what you thought?
I'd hoped so. Because you would have been happy, and that's all I want for you. But, well, you see, Miss Emily, the world didn't come to an end because a few people thought Draper Scott died in that train accident. Life went on for his wife and his little girl. April Scott has a whole new life, Miss Emily.
What?
Maybe. Maybe you don't just have to jump right into that decision.
Molly, what are you saying?
Well, that you should think about it a little more, that's all. I mean, be very sure about what you're doing.
No, I can't keep the truth from April.
Well, I suppose
Molly,
not, but you...
I love Kirk as much as April loves Draper. But they are man and wife, and we aren't. Oh, gosh, that explains so much, so very much. He belongs to April. Not me.
Now remember, lift with the legs, not the back, and you won't get hurt. Yeah, that's it. Oh, you got it.
What the heck? What do they have in this thing? 100-pound barbells? Oh.
Got some machinery parts that the guy over in Fall Rivers wants. Listen, don't ask me what they do.
All this time, I think they're hiring me for my brains, not my brawn.
Listen, if the trick wasn't on its way over, I would have volunteered you.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Come on, let's get moving.
All right, let's take a break.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, boy. When I get home tonight, I need a hot bath and a cold beer.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Hey, how are you and your missus getting moving into that new place?
Man, I don't want to talk about it, huh? I never realized what aggravation and grief moving into a new house could be. Man, every time I turn around, there's something more for us to do.
Well, at least those tickets I gave you to the amusement park will help get you out of the house.
Yeah, the amusement park tickets. That was real nice of you, Jock.
So what did the missus say when you said you were, stepping out?
Well, to be honest with you, I forgot to tell her. I mean, I put them in my back pocket, I went home, and I didn't say anything. But I promise you, I'll tell her tonight when I go home. We'll go this weekend, if the weather's okay, I promise.
You ought to stick those tickets on your nose.
Come on. I told you I had a bad memory now. Come on, it's okay now. Let's finish up that last box.
Yeah, when you're right. Okay. You take that one, and I'll take this one back here.
Oh, hey, Tom, that box looks awful big. Here, let me help
I
you
can
with that.
handle it. Hey, you never see Superman and me in the same spot, right? You know why? Wait, look at... Oh! Gee, you okay? Your leg, it's not broken enough, huh?
It's okay, Doc.
No, like hell it is. I'm gonna go get some guys and take you over to the infirmary, and then I'm gonna take you home.
Doc, it's fine. Damn it.
Well, Julia's getting bigger every day.
You forgot that she's also getting more beautiful every day. But, that's okay. Look, that could be a mother's keen, although maybe just slightly subjective observation.
But it's true.
Yeah, I know. You know, between Adam and Julia, our family is growing by leaps and bounds.
It sure is.
Well, considering I'm the one who made the most recent contribution to the Kavanaugh Cousins Club. Well, look, when are we going to have an addition from your side of the family?
Well, you don't have to wait any longer. That's the reason I came over to tell you that...
You're pregnant. I knew it. I really did.
No. Unfortunately, I'm not pregnant. You remember that young girl? I told you about her. She was following me all over the place.
Yeah, what about her?
Well, Miles and I finally caught up with her the other night at the Unicorn. She's a
Don't
waitress there.
She finally got the nerve to ask you for your autograph.
No. She finally got the nerve to tell me who she is.
Oh, don't tell me. She's a star-struck kid who figures that you are her ticket into show business.
No. She claims to be my half-sister.
What? I mean, you're not serious.
Her name is Jody Travis.
Travis is your maiden name.
Yeah, well... She said that she is the daughter of my father and a woman that he had an affair with for several years after he and my mother separated.
Is it possible?
When my father left home, I wasn't told very much. Wasn't told any details, but I heard things. And I heard enough to know that there's another woman involved.
Well, why is she appearing all of a sudden after all these years?
I don't know. I don't. It might be curiosity or just maybe she's looking for some sort of security. I mean, she's 18 years old, and from what she told me, she didn't have a very happy childhood.
It's too bad.
She's a dancer, and that's a real hard business, and I have the feeling that she's been living from hand to mouth for quite a while.
Nicole, do you think that this Jody Travis is for real?
Well, little information she gave us seemed real enough, but Miles is checking.
Well, I'm the last one who can afford to be skeptical. Considering it took me 25 years to find out that, well, who my real mother was.
My instinct is to believe her. I mean, why would somebody make up something like that? She could be found out so easily. How could she lie?
Well, I don't know. People lie about a lot of different things, different reasons.
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about a phone call that I got a little while ago from Emily Michaels.
What did she want?
To talk to me. I don't know about what. I guess I'll know pretty soon. She's on her way down here.
You seem upset.
Well, it's just that I detected a lot of tension in her voice. And to be perfectly honest with you, Nicole, I'm afraid that she has a very serious problem.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
Jody! This is a surprise. I was looking forward to seeing you again. I didn't think it'd be this soon. Here, sit down.
Well, I apologize for coming over unannounced, but I thought it was important that I see you.
What's the matter? It's not that lunch we just had. I mean, you're not sick.
Oh, no, lunch was delicious. And one of the reasons I came over was to thank you again.
No, it was my pleasure.
And since dinner time is creeping up on us, I thought maybe we could go to the same place to have a little supper.
I see.
No, I'm only kidding. Actually, the real reason I came over here is, brother-in-law business. Wow, you don't know how strange that is for me to say.
A little strange for me to hear, too. What can I do for you?
Well, I was thinking about something you said during lunch, about wanting more evidence that I'm really Nicole's half-sister.
You did kind of pop out of the woodwork, you know.
I know, and I understand you have every right to be skeptical. And you and Nicole have both been so wonderful since my little revelation that I thought I owe you any explanation.
Oh, we appreciate that. We really do.
That's why I spent the entire afternoon going through an old shoebox I have with some photos. I jokingly call it my family album. Anyway, I thought you'd like to see this. My mother had that picture. Don't ask me where she got it. Anyway, I took it when I left home.
Well, the man certainly does look like a young Ben Travis.
Well, take a look at the little girl. I'll have you know she's all grown up today and she's married to you.
Yeah, looks like the baby pictures I've seen of Nicole.
She really was a beautiful little girl. She's even grown into a more beautiful woman.
You seem to be following in her footsteps.
Oh, no, I keep that. Nicole might like to have it.
Thank you.
I hope that photo earns me some credibility. I mean, why else would I have it unless there wasn't some kind of a connection between myself, Ben Travis, and Nicole?
Yeah, it does add some credence to your story, but I must tell you, you already have me convinced. I mean, why else would I have written you that check?
That's something else I was thinking about. I feel really funny taking your money.
No, forget it. Listen, if you want, consider it a loan. You just pay it back whenever you can.
No. No, I don't want to be like some relative that just comes into town for a handout. I can't.
Jody, no,
Here.
no, look, really, I don't want it back. Here.
No, keep it. I don't need it. But thank you anyway, very much. Bye.
You have everything?
Yeah. Everything except the courage to tell April the truth. But I guess I'll muster that up in the car ride to Monticello.
You don't know how I wish things hadn't turned out this way, Miss Emily.
Okay, pal. Take it easy. Come on. A little bit more. That's it. Okay.
It's all right, I don't want you worrying about me.
God, you're in pain.
Well, some guys will do anything to get out of a little work. Okay, park it there. Come on.
Oh,
Now, will you explain to me what happened?
I had a little accident at work. Now, come on.
It's nothing really. I mean, I took him down to the dock, and there's no broken leg or anything like that. And he'll just need a little rest for a couple of days. I feel terrible about it. It was my fault.
His leg is just starting to heal.
Emily, come on. I just wrenched my knee a little bit. Don't worry. My manners. Excuse me. Emily, I want you to meet my foreman, Jock DeLuca. Jock, my wife. Emily, her friend Molly.
Hello, I'm going to get some ice for a compress. I want that swelling to stay down.
Thanks, Molly.
Oh, listen, I'm going to leave because I can see you're in good hands.
Thanks, Jock. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
No, you won't. You show up at that place limping, and I'm going to kick your tail right back here. Hey, you got to take care of yourself. You know, you're going to do a lot of walking on it this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Huh? That's right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Jock. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for bringing him home.
Oh.
Kurt, are you sure you're all right?
Hey, I'm positive, Emily.
Anything can ever happen
Hey,
to you.
come on, Emily. I had a little accident at work. Now, don't go crying on me like I did something terrible now. Or like something terrible happened.
Well, it has.
Emily, come on. I wrenched my knee. Come on. It's not the end of the world.
No, of course not.
Like it's all over and it's done with. It's finished. It's no big deal and it's all done. Let's forget it, huh?
Yeah. Is this over? Molly says the tea will be ready real soon.
You know, you and Molly worry too much about me. You know that?
I love you, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Even with this bad memory of mine, I remember that.
As long as you remember the important things.
Tell you what I do remember, Emily. I remember how you found me when I was completely lost, helpless, and alone. Since you found me, whatever I've become or whatever I've made of myself, it's because of you.
Kurt, you gave me so much more than I gave you. Oh, I want you to remember that no matter what happens.
No matter what happens. What do you expect to happen?
I don't know. Well, things happen. I mean, look at your leg, the accident at the factory.
Hey, the leg is all right, Emily. I don't want you to worry about the leg. It has to be fine. Especially if we're going to be doing all that walking this weekend at the amusement park.
What?
Forgot to tell you. You see, Jock gave me a whole strip of tickets that his brother-in-law gave him for Playland. Oh, everything's free this weekend. The rides, everything for us.
This weekend?
That's right. And they have a good roller coaster there if you're not too scared or afraid.
I'm not afraid of anything as long as I'm with you.
That's the way I feel about you, Emily. When I'm with you, you give me a strength. You make me feel good. Oh, Emily, you've done so much for me. I'll never be able to repay you.
The only thing I ever wanted from you was that you love me. I know you couldn't really.
And you couldn't because something was holding you back. Something that even you didn't understand.
Love takes a while to grow sometimes, Emily. That's what it's doing. That's just what I'm beginning to feel for you.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I think about you every day. That you're meaning more and more to me every day.
Kirk, does that mean that maybe you could love me?
Ouch!
Oh,
be
I'm
careful.
sorry.
Please.
I'll get you some aspirin. I'm sorry. Molly, wait a minute. I'm not going to go back with you.
What?
No, tell April that I'll see her another time, that it really wasn't important.
Why?
I'm staying with Kirk.
You're not going to tell her.
I can't. I love him, Molly. And he's beginning to love me. I can't give him up.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find. Always on my mind. And frustrated days pass without sight. The edge of night, half dark, half light. Do you think we might wake up someday?
It's theirs. This house is theirs.
I didn't realize it was her. The first time I realized anything was the first day. This picture was by her bed. I took one look at it and I knew what had happened. That's when I called you to warn you not to work for Dr. Kavanaugh, a man who would know Draper Scott only too well.
I'm sorry. Must have been a terrible secret to have to keep.
It's a secret we just can't keep any more, Miss Emily. His family and his friends, they're all around you. All they have to do is just see him. Just once.
But Molly, what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to give him up? Just say, well, you're not married to me at all. You're married to another woman.
Is there any other way?
Molly, he has been Kirk to me. All along, since he came to us that night. He has been my husband to me. Now, how am I supposed to stop loving him?
You only loved him because you thought he was Kirk. Emily, Kirk is dead.
Hi.
Hi.
Look what I found. The old walking stick. I was a little worried. I thought I'd forgotten how to use it, but it's not true. It's like the bicycle. Once you learn how to ride it, you always know.
Yeah, well, you should have gotten out of bed.
No, I was getting restless. A little lonely for you.
All you had to do was call me. I've come to you. Sit down. How does that leg feel?
Oh, it's down to a dull thud. It feels much better than when that crate first fell on it.
Poor thing, having the same leg hurt twice.
Oh, don't worry. Sometimes things like that happen.
Was it really that man's fault? The one who brought you home?
It was an accident, Emily. Hey, Jock took good care of me. Should have seen it when he carried me up to the infirmary. He wouldn't let the doctor look at me until he talked about his credentials. Wanted to make sure he graduated from medical school.
It seemed like he was very nice.
And he gave us those passes, don't forget.
That's right. The amusement park.
Mm-hmm. The rides are all free. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, but you're going to have to do an awful lot of walking in an amusement park.
Don't worry about my leg. My leg's going to be fine. 100% mobile by tomorrow, I promise.
Well, if you really want to go.
Yeah. You know, maybe we need that. I mean, maybe it's about time we went out and had some real fun.
It is about time.
You know something else, Emily? You know, we never dated. Maybe that's what we need to help us.
You're right. I think it's a wonderful idea. Just the two of us. Two of us together.
Now what's the matter?
Nothing.
Nothing? Then why are you crying?
Because I'm happy.
You know, Emily, from the way you're carrying on, you'd think I'd ask you to go on an around-the-world cruise with me instead of just a day's outing to an amusement park.
Kirk, it doesn't matter to me where we go. Just as long as we're together. As long as we're always together.
Can't understand it. Never will understand this tears of joy business. Why anybody wants to cry when they're happy is beyond me.
I think I know why.
What's your theory?
Well, a person can feel more than one emotion at once. I mean, he can feel happy and at the same time feel afraid.
Yeah, but why?
Because he's afraid that maybe that happiness will be taken from him.
Is that your fear?
No. Not since this afternoon. Not since you told me that you're beginning to love me. Kirk, that made all the difference in the world.
Maybe that is what you're afraid of, Emily. That the last 10 years, 10 years of my past, are all gonna come back one day and just slap us both right in the face.
No. I don't want to think about the past. I won't think about it anymore. Honey, what is important is right now. You and me together right now.
Mrs. Scott, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'll just start dinner right away.
Molly, are you all right?
Yes. I'm just a little rushed.
So that's all it is? You seem upset.
Oh, going to and from Oakdale on those freeways of yours is enough to make anybody gray before their time. I'm just going to have a cup of tea and then I'll be all right.
Where's Emily? I thought she was coming with you.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. She isn't coming after all, Mrs. Scott. She asked me to tell you.
Oh?
When I got there, she had a headache and she didn't feel like making the trip.
Well, maybe I should call her and see if she's okay.
She was on her way upstairs to bed as I was leaving. I'm sure she'd appreciate it if you didn't disturb her.
Yeah, well, did she happen to mention to you at all why she wanted to come and talk to me?
Not a word. Oh, except she asked me to tell you that whatever it was is settled and she won't bother you about it anymore.
It's kind of strange. She made it sound to me like it was a matter of life or death.
Oh, well, that's Emily. She exaggerates everything from time to time. I'll get that. Yes, Oscar. Just a minute. Mrs. Swift is downstairs.
Tell her I'm not home.
Oscar, would you tell her Mrs. Scott isn't home? Oh, you told her she was. Yes, send her up, Oscar. Thank you. Could I get you some coffee or anything?
No. No, thank you. There will be no overt signs of hospitality.
Hello.
are you?
Just fine, thank you. And what can I do for you, Raven?
Well, I am here looking for a missing person.
Well, if you came here to play hide and seek, you're in the wrong place. There's no one or nothing under either the sofa or out on the terrace or anywhere else.
I see. Well, I'm looking for my husband, and this does seem to be his favorite haunt these days.
Sorry, but you're a little late. Logan left town this afternoon.
On business?
On pleasure. Vacation.
I find that very hard to believe. My workaholic husband doesn't know the meaning of the word vacation.
Well, maybe he just looked it up in the dictionary and decided that he needed to take one. He's been under a little bit of stress lately.
Well, he didn't say anything to me about it, and an impulsive vacation is certainly not part of his character.
Believe it or not, Raven, some people are actually capable of change.
Well, I'm sorry, but I find it hard to believe. It doesn't make any sense. He has to prepare for this custody trial, and that's only 4 weeks away.
Well, maybe he feels he has enough evidence that it's all taken care of, and the only thing that's left is the shouting match.
But his strategy isn't even set yet, especially considering his latest change of tactics.
What are you talking about?
You mean you don't know? April, Logan has changed his mind, and he is not going to call you as a witness. From the slightly astonished look on your face, I assume that you didn't know.
Well, this happens to be the first time I've heard it.
Well, Logan has changed his plans, and he's decided not to call you as a witness.
Are you sure you have your facts straight?
Mm-hmm. He told me himself.
Well, now, why the sudden change?
I don't know. You know how gallant Logan is. He probably decided it would be a lot more fair to you if he didn't call you on the stand and put you through all that third degree.
Raven, Logan and I have already discussed that.
Well, maybe he was just being practical. Maybe he was afraid you would crumble under cross-examination, and then your testimony, as well as his case, would go down the drain.
Raven, I really do hate to disappoint you, but I won't crumble. Besides, now why should I believe you?
Why should I lie to you?
Oh, I don't know, Raven, but finding rational motivation for any of your behavior is never easy.
April, I am telling you the truth.
Well, maybe you are. Just maybe you are, but I think I will wait and hear it from Logan himself.
Well, you go right ahead, but you're not going to learn anything new. And when he does tell you the news, I hope you won't try to talk him out of it.
You are so afraid of what'll happen if I testify, aren't you?
No, I'm not. It's just that Logan is the lawyer. And if he thinks this is the right way to handle the case, I'm sure you wouldn't want to try to change his opinion. I'm going to have another drink.
Listen, the Grand Falls PD may not be as up-to-date as you hotshots in Monticello, but we're well-trained. Yeah, you probably think we're nothing but a bunch of Keystone cops.
But nobody is questioning your competency or the competency of your officers.
We just want to get an answer to a very perplexing question.
And I'll tell you again, none of my men were responsible for the mix-up of those bodies. I'll stake my badge
Look,
on it.
we're not talking about that. All we know is that the body of Sam Dwyer wound up handcuffed to some insurance salesman. Now, we would like to know how that happened and what happened to Draper Scott.
Look, as soon as word spread that the Express was halfway in the river, half the county turned out to lend a hand. People were crawling in and out of that train, helping to get the injured out. And I was a little too busy to get down all their names.
Look, isn't it possible that one of the volunteers could have removed those handcuffs and then maybe thought better of it later and put them back?
Why not? There was a lot of confusion. Could have hooked them up to the wrong bodies.
That's as good a theory as any. Although I can't imagine how you're going to find out who did it.
It's very important to us that we do find out. You don't have any idea how important it is.
Look, I don't know what's going on down there in Monticello. Or why this even has to be made such a big thing out of after all this time.
A man, presumably dead, is not in his grave. We'd like to know where he is.
I suppose you are catching a lot of flack over this mix-up, huh? But if the Monticello cops are looking for a scapegoat to take the heat off, you aren't going to find any sacrificial lambs in the Grand Falls...
Will you stop being so defensive about this and just listen to what we have to say?
We are not looking for a scapegoat. We're looking for our friend.
Now, listen, I was working with the rescue team over on the riverbank. I must have seen 3, 4 bodies tossed out of that train, only to be swept away by the river current. Mr. Scott received a burial at sea. There is no doubt in my mind about that.
Isn't it possible that somebody could have escaped on the other side of the car that was still on solid ground? Then they wouldn't have gotten swept away by the river.
Then they would have been picked up by the rescue workers.
All right, let's speculate for a minute, okay? Now, let's just assume that this person did get past the rescue workers and he happened to wander off somewhere. I'm just speculating now. In your opinion, where do you think he would go?
All right, now, this is the site of the train wreck. Now, a man trying to avoid capture wouldn't head back in the direction of the crash. And he wouldn't head to the east.
Why not?
Heavy brush country. A man lost in that area most likely would starve to death.
Well, Draper didn't know that. He didn't know the country. He could be in there even now.
Well, we thought some survivors might have headed in that direction, so we went through the area with a fine-tooth comb. If he was hiding out there, we would have found him, or his body.
What about north?
That's the direction of the Redstone prison. Even Mr. Scott knew that. I'm sure he wouldn't be fool enough to walk into his own jail cell.
Well, that leaves west. What's in that direction?
Yeah, that's the way he probably would go, all right. Town called Evansville is just down the road. A man on the run could find food, shelter, before moving on.
Evansville, here we come. Sheriff, thank you for your time. I hope we haven't caused you too much inconvenience. If we find out anything, we'll let you know.
Now, what do you think of the character?
I think it's good, Nancy. Very good.
If anybody wants me, I'll be up in my room, okay?
You have any plans for this evening, Kelly?
No, nothing special.
But it's your night off from the Unicorn.
Oh, I thought I'd just hang around here. Maybe design another puppet. Well, I've had this cowboy in mind that I've been wanting to put together for the longest time.
Kelly, I realize that Monticello isn't the entertainment capital of the world, but I'm sure you don't have to look very hard to find something interesting to do in the evening.
No, I'm fine, really.
Kelly, I imagine that when you were living abroad, it was kind of difficult to adapt to other languages and customs constantly, but you wouldn't have that kind of trouble here in Monticello. I think you ought to go out more.
Well, I will, Mike. Soon.
I think you spend much too much time alone. You're a very personable young man. You ought to get out and circulate. I'm sure you wouldn't have any trouble making new friends.
Well, actually, I have met a really nice girl.
Oh.
Well, she's pretty and really smart.
Obviously, Kelly doesn't need our advice.
No. Her name is Jody. She works down at the Unicorn as a waitress.
Oh?
But she doesn't seem that interested in me. All I am to Jody is the guy that runs the light and sound system.
Oh, Kelly, give her time. I'm sure she'll come round.
And if she doesn't, there'll be others.
Well, I asked her if she wanted to come with me tonight, to go down to catch that new Western film at the Midway. She turned me down.
Well, that doesn't mean that she won't say yes next time.
Is she involved with someone else?
Well, not someone as much as something. Well, she had a dance class tonight. Jody always seems to have a dance class.
Oh? Is she serious about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, Jody wants to be a professional dancer more than anything else in the world. Well, she spends every spare minute taking classes and rehearsing and exercising. I've never seen anyone more dedicated in my life.
Oh, I have. You.
Me?
Sure. Puppeteering is a very large slice of your life, isn't it?
That's right. You were just about to spend your whole evening up there working with them.
Yep. I guess you're right.
So maybe you and Jody, what's her name, have more in common than you think.
Oh, her last name is Travis. Jody Travis.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. That's Nicole's maiden name.
Mm-hmm. Hey, didn't Bobby Burrows tell us to tune in his program about this time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, hey, do you think he's really going to say something about my puppets?
Well, he implied as much. Nancy, what were the call letters of the station?
1100.
Here.
Now, there's one of the big tunes for you from the summer of '80. Hey, before I get right back at you with a set of golden goodies, The Bobby Burrows Entertainment Tip of the Week is on the air. Now gather around your radios and listen to old Bob, because this week's tip is a sure thing. It's about a young man named Kelly McGrath, who just happens to be the most talented young puppeteer to come along in a very long time. Now, I first heard about Kelly when he was donating his time and talents to the children's ward at Monticello General Hospital, where he delights the patients and makes them so happy that they get well a whole lot quicker. But the good news is that you don't have to check into the hospital to check out Kelly's act. He works at the Unicorn Disco over on Coriander, and has been known to put on an impromptu show from time to time with his Poco puppets, much to the delight of the young customers. Now, if you think that all discos are the same, you are wrong, W-R-O-N-G. So get on down to the Unicorn Disco and check out Kelly and his little friends. He may be the best thing about the place. And now, back to more music.
That was quite a plug.
What did you think of your rave review, Kelly?
I hope Mr. Dorn didn't hear that.
So, you and Logan have been getting awfully chummy.
Raven, I've already told you I don't consider that a topic for discussion between us.
Yes, I know. You're best friends. April, I think I better set you straight. Logan is a man, right? And all men are alike.
What are you getting at?
Let me put it this way. I suspect in the past week that Logan's attitude toward you has changed. Has he cooled off considerably?
I hadn't noticed.
Well, it's true. I know it is, and I can tell you exactly why.
Raven, I really think it's time for you to leave.
I hope you don't think that his affections that he has lavished upon you have been genuine. Because I'm afraid, honey, they've only been a ploy to take advantage of the widow Scott.
You heard me, Raven. I said good night.
Your testimony was the only thing he was concerned about. And he lavished affections on you because he needed you. I'm sorry, but that was his intent. So that you would be there when he called.
Hey, what are you doing?
Turning down the bed.
Hey, come on. My leg's not that bad. I can turn down my own bed.
I'm not leaving, Kirk. It's time. It's time for us to start sharing one bed. Like any other husband and wife.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find. Always on my mind. And frustrated days pass without sight. The edge of night, half dark, half light. Do you think we might wake